Okay, this is the next video in our continuation of our AWS series. And in this video, we will do the hands-on exercise on AWS IAM roles. So IAM is one of the services. So if you click on the IAM, or you can search from here as well, IAM. Right, so we found a lot of options, and one of the option is roles. So if you click on the roles, so if you see some definition here, then IAM role is an identity you can create that has specific permission with credential that are valid for short duration. Roles can be assumed by identity that you trust. So when you default, or like if you are like login into the AWS console and go to the IAM, then go to the roles, you will found some roles here, maybe 3 4 5 6 roles, or maybe if you have, that is the default roles, or if you have created, then maybe in your case you found some more. All right, so in my case, I'm seeing only 5 to 6 roles here. All right, so what we will do in this exercise, we will try to create a role, but the role is for the EC2 service as an example. So role is like, why we need the role? Role is nothing. Role is just a kind of a permission we are giving to someone else to do some operation. That's it. So let's suppose you created some EC2 instance. So EC2 is one of the services. Just ignore all these things that I have written. So let's suppose you have created the EC2 instance, and EC2 is one of the AWS service. All right. So you have just normally created the EC2 instance, and now if you log in into the EC2, either using from local, or either using from the AWS, if you log in into the EC2 and now you want to perform some operation from the EC2 which is you created, right? As an example, so you created the EC2, now you want to run some AWS IAM list users command, right? So this is one of the command which you want to perform. So what this command will trying to do is, like, within the EC2, from the EC2 service, I want to access the IAM service. All right. So here I am not the users. EC2 is my the user. EC2 is the user. So EC2 want to access the IAM service. So if EC2 should not have the permission, then if that service try to access any service, any other service, either IAM or either the S3 or any service, it will get the error. So how we will give the permission to the EC2? We know how to give the permission to ourselves, but how to give the permission to the EC2? So what we have to do is, we have to create a IAM role. With that role is just a kind of a folder, you can say, just a dummy name. With that role, we will attach some permission, and that permission is the IAM read-only permission. So once the role is created, so while creating the EC2, we will attach that EC2. Right. So first we'll create an IAM role. So let's go to the AWS console. So if you go to the roles, there is a create role button. Just click on the create role. Here you will find so many options, 4 to 5 options. Just focus on the first option, AWS service. So role which you are creating is not for the user. AWS service role you are creating for the AWS service. So whenever you create any service, EC2 service, Lambda service, so if that service have to access any other service in the AWS, then you need the IAM role for that service. And first you have to create that role. So you will create the role from here, from this option, AWS service. So allow AWS service like EC2, Lambda, or any other service to platform action in this account. So we will create the AWS service. So if you scroll down, they have mentioned some use cases like EC2 and Lambda are the mostly use cases. But if your requirement is EC2, just click on the EC2. If your requirement is Lambda, click on the Lambda. If your requirement is something else, just select from the drop down. There are a lot of service mentioned here. All right. So right now our requirement is EC2, because we will spin up the EC2. All right, and we will attach the IAM role with the EC2, because we want EC2 should perform, EC2 should access our IAM service. So whether EC2 will able to access or not. So click on the EC2. Let's go to the next. And now we have to attach the permission. So what permission we want? IAM read only. So IAM read only. Just click on it and click on the next. And here the role name, any role and any name we can give, like something specific, demo, EC2, IAM. read only role. All right. And permission is has been attached. So if you want to add the tags or you don't want to add the tag, it's totally fine. Just create the role. So it is creating a role. So if you see the on the blue banner, creating role. So role has been created. Now I am able to see this role here. So this is the only role within the IAM. It is not attached with the EC2. Right? I just created the role. I have did not attach this role with the EC2. Now if you go to the EC2, so under the instances, we don't have any instance running. So let's create some instance. And make sure you are using the free tier. Otherwise, if you are not using the free tier, then it will going to charge you. And you have to make sure like you will terminate your resources, destroy your resources. So let's give any name, demo EC2. So demo EC2. Okay. So by default, it is selecting Major Linux, which is available for the free tier eligible. And this is the image ID. Fine. T2.micro, free tier eligible, that is totally fine. If you want to attach the key pair, you can create a new key pair and then you can attach, but that is totally fine. And create a security group, allow the SSH. Yes, I want to do the SSH. So allow the SSH from anywhere, fine. And that's it. If you want to do something else, you can attach, but I don't want to do any other thing. Creating the default EC2 with everything like the default settings. So click on the launch instance, number of instances one. So they said like a key pair. So proceed without a key pair. I don't want to attach a key pair. So launch instance. So instance has been launched. So it will like spin up within a few minutes. Now its state is pending. So sooner it will come into the running state. So let's wait for a couple of minutes. So you could see my instance is up and running, right? So it's still initializing. So we can wait for the minute or just click on it. And you could see the connect button here. Just click on the connect and the default user is EC2 user. So connect. So I am within the EC2, all right? So which is running the Linux image. So this has by default the AWS installed. So I could see AWS installed, even though it's the latest version of AWS 1.18, and right now is AWS CLA 2 version. But anyhow, like the AWS installed. So now I just normally created the EC2. I did not attach any IAM role. IAM role I created separately, but I have not attached that IAM role with the EC2. So let's try to execute some command. The command is I want this EC2 should access my IAM service. So whether it able to do or not. So let's try that. So let's clear so AWS. So any AWS command, like any AWS CLI command starting with the AWS, and the second letter is always the service, which service on which, and then the command. So list users. So whatever the users exist in my IAM, I want to access. So let's hit enter. So it says that unable to locate the credentials. So which means this EC2 don't have access to access my the another service, which is the IAM, because that is the reason it is asking for the credentials, right? Because it doesn't have the access. All right. So let's do one thing, because we have created the IAM role. Even if you go to the AWS configure list, we could see nothing is configured. Profile is not set, access key is not set, secret key is not set, region is not set, nothing is there. Even we don't need to set the region because IAM is the global service. So that is totally fine. So nothing is there. So this EC2 by default doesn't have any access to access the any other service. That's why it is saying give me some credentials so that I can access those credentials who has the right to access the AWS service. So let's do one thing. So my this instance is running. So click on this instance and go to the actions, go to the security and modify the IAM role. So now we will attach the IAM role. So which role we have created? Demo EC2 IAM read only role. So let's attach the role. So now the role has been attached. We can see here as well. So see here, IAM role has been attached now. So IAM role has been attached. So it means IAM role, IAM role on the IAM, we created the IAM role for the EC2 and that has the IAM access, right? So now that role attached with the EC2. So EC2 should have access the IAM. So if I do AWS configure list, so you could see by default, I did not do anything. I just attached the role. Automatically it get the credentials and the credentials of the IAM role. Now, if I run the command AWS IAM list users, I'm able to see all the users. Right now, only one user exists. So whatever the user exists, like it give me the list of your users. So right now only one user exists, so it give me the only one user. If one more than one user exists, maybe it will give me the like definitely not maybe definitely it will give me the like the another user. So this is a small exercise for the to do the hands on the AWS IAM roles. So what we did in this is we created the IAM role for the AWS service. We created an EC2 instance without attaching the IAM role. And because that is the dummy EC2 instance and one service, if AWS service has to access any other service, we have to attach, we have to give the permission to that AWS service. And how to give the permission? By the role. Right, so we have to attach that role, whether it's the EC2 IAM role, Lambda role, any other role. So first we created the EC2 instance without attaching IAM role and we try to run the command. It asks for the credentials because it doesn't have the by default access. Then we whatever the role we have created for the EC2 and we attach the read only permission. So that role we attach with the EC2. So now that role has the IAM read only permission. And so if we attach the role with the EC2, so now EC2 has the role read only permission. So after that, we able to see like we run the same command and we could see like now EC2 able to access the another service, which is the IAM. So that's the end of the video. So thank you.